This is one that has short implants in it. I don't know how long they've been in for a while, that's for sure. That's the latest edition. But we've got a really short implant here, shorter implants here. These are a couple wows. You got to look at these. So I call it short implants dentistry galore because my CT just sees metal. I mean, at the root level, there's implants all over, there's root canal treatments all over, and then we got bridge after bridge after bridge. So this guy has really spent money on his dentistry, so he's used to it. He's a great patient. He just kind of goes with the flow. That's part of life for him. So be it. Okay. His latest problem is this bridge, so that's why we're seeing him, but I'm going to talk a little bit about the ridge height here. So let's look at the treatment assessment, and right now the bone density looks like a light green, constriction is a yellow, facial bone is orange, and ridge height is orange, mainly because of that anterior area here, where if you lost the front ones or had to go to full arch, you're going to have this weird level of bone. And I hate augmenting the bone there, but you're probably going to have to do that and level it out and give them a bite. But look how far away those pontics really are from the bone here. There's a big gap, and when you do implants here, you're going to have this real big gum problem if you're trying to get it to look as natural as possible. It just looks better with a bridge. But you know, in this case, if you did implants here, it's not going to be that great. It won't look as good, and the tissue, everything, you're going to maybe do a thick tissue graft. I'm not really sure. But anyway, we're going to talk about this lower left side here, and we're going to look at these implants here on this case right now. So let's take a look a little bit closer on the CT. Let's look at that canines like that. And you can see that there is no facial bone here whatsoever. Really not a whole lot of lingual bone either. Little sliver. So, and we have this angulation problem. So, I really don't like the density of this. So what did I give the density? Maybe I give that density more like an orange because this is horrible. It's really a hard bone, and the chances of that succeeding really start to fall down. I don't like the angulation that I see here relative to the lateral, so I would be looking at possibly trying to straighten that up with an implant, looking at the way this is kind of done, and I would go a little more straight in and avoid that root area. So the bone is very dense, so it's going to be very difficult to kind of do a drill sequence down this. You're going to have to go very slow, or just make sure you're going very methodically down, and you're always aware of where the lingual wall is and the facial plate. Luckily, it becomes more of an open angle, obtuse angle, looking at it that way. So what kind of implant? Well, I always start on my premolars with a 4.2. Here's a 4.2 by 10. So we start with that, and you would throw that in here. And you're going to have to do an angled abutment probably on this one, and so that's about it. It's a little bit far down only because we lost so much bone, but when you go to the next area over, look at what's going on with that pontic. We've lost the facial plate. You got this weird kind of shape, and look how dense that is. Yeah, this is definitely orange or red. I don't like that at all. And then our height of the bone looks like it's right there, but that's only that tippy top. Let's go down and put it there. So that is the top of the bone. So you're a little bit further past where you want to be. And that's very different from where this bone is way up here around this lateral here. So yeah, because that then is the canine. Yeah, it's just a weird looking thing. So going back to a posterior position in that second premolar area, we see the bifurcation, so the eye nerve is in a nice position. It's pretty low, and here's where that root ends up. So there's just not a lot of bone here, unfortunately. Very difficult to get something going here. Let's do something short, a 7 or an 8. Let's do an 8 by 4.2. I don't know. Very challenging. Make sure you are, yeah, so still possible. An 8 by 4.2. That's whoever did these realized they were kind of stuck. Obviously brave souls and took care of that. But that's essentially what's going to happen here. I don't recommend something down this site for the reason why it's so hard, and it's also has got this weird lip on it. I would stay away from that site. Yeah, don't like it at all. You probably could get something there, but all right, so let's look at these implants here so we can see what our future would be like. You're going to do a 3-unit bridge. Now, here's where the dentist put it in and tried to get the right angle on it. Got the angle for the compressive load, but they could have gone a little longer. But you probably have attached gingiva issues. You've got access issues. You got this big bone, kind of hard bone. It's kind of hard. This is definitely an advanced dentist type of scenario. But look at that implant. It's in there. I don't know. It's been in there for a while. It looks good. It's a short implant. Got a nice crown on top. So that works. So I'm not complaining. Here's a funny thing about this case is, and this is kind of where I hate it, as much as this is heroically put in, I hope that the patient had a second molar before that went away, and they still put in a second molar implant here. So I don't like second molar implants. If you've watched any of my other channel stuff, other videos, you'll know that. It's a secondary position, but you can see that this has been successful, at least on the healing part of it. And look at that bone. It's a very hard bone. Really must have had just a kind of, didn't even know how close he was to the nerve here. So he or she, and so just got that in under the wire. It's successful, like I said. That's you see stranger things than that, but it's definitely going to be successful here on out, only because unless he doesn't take this clean, there's nothing opposing it. So the biomechanics are in his favor. Looking at really quick this bone up here, let's just look at that bridge up here. If you were to do a bridge, see that bone looks really good on the upper, so that's where I kind of like it more like a light green for bone density on the upper, but I'm more of an orange to a red on the bone density on the bottom. But that kind of works. The problem is you're probably going to do an 8 there. Let's see. Let's do a 3.5 by 8, and all right, so at least there's a maxillary sinus. That's an 8. I would go with a 10. I would punch into the maxillary sinus. I don't really like the angulation there, especially in that premolar area. You know, is it normally that angled? No, but he is. And then you get into your central site here, and this is, in my opinion, not an immediate placement site because that facial wall is very thin, and I don't want it to collapse away because I have a parallel wall here. I don't really have a constriction, but I don't like that it's slightly just too parallel here. Doesn't give me a lot of room to work with. Let's put in a 3.7 by 11, just so we could see the sizing here. Yeah, you're getting close. You're better off trying to make sure that that facial plate is stable before you try these immediate placement situations and grafts and all that fancy stuff. So stay like that. Would you do a 3-unit bridge across that? Yeah, you can. Limit the occlusal load. Hopefully they're not loading too much and they're not in this big root function off your canine and the premolar and the lateral. Yeah, a little bit tricky. This is definitely an advanced case. That's harrowing, and I hope that he had a second molar before they did that. Here also, you know, there's a first molar position. That would be the second molar position, so when that one goes, you don't replace that. And let's just peek over to this implant over here just to see what we're looking at. That might be a Ritter implant in there. It's hard to say. It looks like it would be. I know that little knob is where it actually gets held in the container. And that's what it looks like. So flush with the bone, really good lineup for compression, even though the lingual wall looks a little bit thinner, but your alignment needs to be in a compressive function here. So that's actually really, really good. We're dead center on that. But outside of that, these are holding. I don't, you know, like I said, I don't remember him telling me, but it's been, you know, most of these cases, these implants have been in for over 10 years, and these short implants like this do work. You just got to keep it clean, and yeah, just keep these clean. The patient needs to get used to having anything like that. His occlusal plane drops a little bit, so that might come into favor for the shorter implants too. Bicon would possibly work here. Obviously, they're the short implant company. These are not them. These are traditional type implants that are just shorter. So they've worked out very nicely in his hard bone. So I think with the evidence showing that these have worked and these have worked, then I guess you have to assume that it may not be a red or orange. Maybe it's more of a yellow for that type of hard bone kind of stuff. So anyway, that is this case study. It gets a little tricky. He will lose those upper bridges sometime. That's just one of those things. And maybe I'll look later on and we'll do more follow-up cases with this particular case. So anyway, like us on Facebook and subscribe to us on our YouTube channel. Look for our live stream.